following program is classified G. It's suitable for all ages.
A very good evening and thank you for joining us on Business Best, and this is a platform where we showcase the best in the business, and we will be introducing to you people who have excelled in their particular field in order to showcase their latest developments in their respective industry. Now today on the show, this show would be really relevant for the pet owners out there. Now having a pet comes with great responsibility, and it can be kind of stressful for you when you don't know how to take care of your pet and when your pet falls sick or so on. So with that introduction, I would like to introduce you to Themiya Gaminitilaka, who is the co-founder of PetDoc. Themiya, thank you very much for taking the time to join me on the show today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Listen, if I'm not mistaken, Themiya, PetDoc is an e-channeling service for pets, right? So why don't you give us a little bit introduction to what PetDoc is all about and the services that you all are providing?
Yes, so PetDoc is the first e-channeling service for vets. This we developed on behalf of the pet owners to bridge the pet owners and the vets whenever their pet is sick. Apart from that, features are you can check your medical history of the pet in case if you change from one vet to another, or if you lose your book, still you can recollect from the app of what are the treatments that you have given. You get vaccination reminders, everything.
So basically it is a channeling services where you can record your past history of your pets as well, the medical history.
Yes, you can upload, the pet owner can upload, say for example, if you take an x-ray of your pet, you can upload that onto the app.
All right. So if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned that this is the first time Sri Lanka has come up with an e-channeling service for pets, is it?
Yes,
so
it is.
What inspired you to come up with this?
Well, it's quite emotional, Shanali. Talking about it happened through, I made this app, developed this app based on my personal experience. So it happened 2 years back in 2020 when my pet was sick, and it was during COVID that we couldn't. The vets were not reluctant to visit our residence due to COVID. And then when I spoke to her, she asked me to visit the nearest clinic. So when we went there, unfortunately the person who's supposed to do the scanning was not available on that day. So I had to wait for about 2 to 3 days to get that appointment. And I immediately called my vet, and then she asked me to give these pills, medication. And when I took him back home, unfortunately it was too late. Due to liver enlargement, he passed away. So it was quite emotional. So, and then I spoke to my friend Lakshan and his wife Dr. Derana. Look, there's a huge gap. We need to do something about this. And then we came up with PetDoc.
I'm sorry to hear about that, Themiya, but I think it was for a good cause. You came up with something new, and you're making sure that this doesn't happen to anyone else in the future. All right. So now when coming to the services or the introduction, when did you launch this product?
We launched it in January, 27th of January this year. And so far we have a lot of demand from pet owners. And also we have a lot of vets onboarded with us, registered with us. So it's developing.
How was the response like when you launched this product? Were people aware about this? Were the vets on board with you all as well to join you all?
Yes, we received a lot of inquiries through social media, like Facebook. They were asking us how they can register with us. And so far it has been growing since then.
What were some of the drawbacks now so far that you've experienced? I know that you all launched this in January, but since it's a startup, as a startup, what are the challenges that you're facing?
That's a very good question. Like any other discipline, we had a lot of drawbacks. One of the main drawbacks was visiting our service providers and vets due to the fuel crisis. But somehow they were very supportive, and we had discussions over video
How was your board created, Themiya? Like, how did you come up with your team to do this? Were there other people also supportive of this? Because I believe that, people who love animals, pet owners, I would say, would like to join to work with you. Have you had a supporting team behind this?
Yes, we have. And even my friends and family members, they were very supportive initially. And that's how we grew this much.
Tell me a little bit about your team now, about your software development team. Now, this is a mobile application.
Yes.
And tell us about, how clients can enroll with y'all, how they can download the app and be engaged with PetDoc.
Yes, so it's currently live and active on App Store and Play Store. We provide this free of charge. Even for the vets to register with us, it's free of charge. We don't charge any amount.
All right. So when considering the vets, now usually when we talk about pet owners, we just think of cats, dogs, probably a rabbit or birds. Do you cater vets who are treating to only those kinds of animals, or catering to other areas as well?
Well, no, we cater to other areas as well, like farm animals, fish, birds, then exotic animals. We have specialists registered with us who treats elephants, and then zoo animals, etc.
How do you find these vets, Themiya? Because as far as I know, it's very difficult to find pets here in Sri Lanka, and they are not available conveniently for y'all. And where have you had these vets registering? From which areas?
So we communicate with the SLVA. We get information from them that is the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, and we speak to the vets in person. And if they are interested with us, we enroll with them.
Okay. Now, in your e-channeling app, the only thing which was properly launched was the e-channeling segment, but you're hoping to launch few more other services as well. Why don't you tell our audience about the future expansions of your business?
Yes, that's a very good question, Shanali. So we are going to expand into pet photography, and where the family, they can take their pets, just like a wedding pre-shoot, they can take photographs, then pet grooming, pet sitting, pet boarding, pet training. So those are the other functions that we are going to introduce in the future.
And when I went through your website, petdoc.lk, there were a few services as well that you're planning to launch as well. There's a segment called eVet Scan. How do you plan on launching that? What is it all about?
Well, it's like you need to consult the doctor first, and then the doctor will make an appointment for the e-scanning.
All right, okay. And then channeling for pet grooming, everything works the same way, is it? And there was another segment for discounted pet products. Now, I feel now there's this economic crisis going haywire in Sri Lanka, and these pet products are mainly imported from other countries, and it's difficult to find pet products, and especially for dog owners or any pet owner, I would say, like it's difficult to find the specific food or medications needed for different types of species. So now there's this service segment that you have mentioned, pet products. How do you plan on sourcing your products in the future?
We have our own vendors who distributes pet products, and with the agreements that we have with them, they are willing to offer this discounted price.
So far you all have not yet launched this product, is it?
That's a future product.
All right. In the eVet channeling also, does it normally work as the normal channeling as for what we use for doctors as well? Is it?
Yes, absolutely. So it's a matter of once you download this app, you can make an appointment. Through that, the pet owner will identify the location where he is based on, and based on the pet product, the pet type. If it's a small animal or a bird, you can select which vet to consult and make the appointment.
I think that's very important, because if you have a dog as your pet, then you know which doctor to go, but when you have exotic animals or different type of animals, you don't know which doctor to go to. But your app provides this type of information as to which doctor specializes in which segment, right?
Absolutely, yes.
That's amazing, Themiya. Okay, to continue this discussion, we'll have to go into a short commercial break. We'll be back soon. You're watching Business Best. Welcome back to Business Best, and we are in discussion with Themiya Gaminitilaka, the co-founder of PetDoc. Now, Themiya, I think in the first segment we spoke exactly what PetDoc is all about and the services that you all are providing. Now, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get into entrepreneurship, and what were you doing before PetDoc all began?
Right. So I was part of, during my school days, I was part of the Turtle Hatchery project, and I was actively involved with that. Then after school, I started my work, my employment, working in the airline cargo industry, freight industry, import and export. After that, during that time, I started a few entrepreneurial businesses, like introduced a few. I was actively involved with supporting and volunteering with welfare and CSR projects. So this came all of a sudden with past experiences, I believe. It came, I got this idea.
Themiya, now you mentioned some CSR projects as well. Now, when I went through your website, there were few projects listed under your CSR activities as well. What are those projects that you are currently working on?
So we are currently working on with snake capturers and beehive capturers, where you see a threat and probably sometimes you do not know what to do. Once there was a snake in my kitchen under the sink, and we somehow managed to chase it away. But in case if there was a small child, what would you do? So then you can immediately contact these emergency numbers for snake capturers, and then we are willing to join with animal welfare organizations.
So when talking about your competitive advantage, now I believe you're the first you're the first company that started this e-channeling for pets. What is so special about this? Because there might be so many other companies who would start this also. How do you plan on being unique?
Well, just like you mentioned, we are the first to introduce this service. We are specialized in enrolling vets with special skills, and also service providers who's specialized in their areas, like pet sitting. It's not easy to become a pet sitter or a pet trainer, so they are specialized in those areas. And vets, we have vets who specialized in like treating animals like elephants, and then exotic animals, birds, small animals and big animals, fish, etc.
All right. So now the vets who have enrolled with you all so far, from which locations have they been enrolled? Because are you planning on doing this island-wide, or is it still just Colombo you all have started with?
Currently, we have enrolled with only within Greater Colombo City, and 3 animal hospitals in the Colombo City area. So we are planning to expand in island-wide, like Kandy, Galle, Kurunegala, those areas as well.
Because why do you plan on expanding it to the main cities in Sri Lanka? Do you think that they are the only regions? There are a lot of
pet owners in Colombo.
Right. Okay. So when talking about the journey now, you as an entrepreneur, and you started this business like in 2020,
yes,
but you all launched the product in January, and you all launched this in the midst of an economic crisis. And what are the difficulties that you've been facing so far because of this, and would you advise any other entrepreneur to start their businesses during these difficult times?
Absolutely, Shanali, there's a lot of opportunities, and you can find a lot of gaps, especially getting used to the new normal. There's a huge opportunity in front of you. It's just that you need to identify that.
How did you identify this gap? I know that you had a personal experience as well,
yes,
but then there are other people also who are facing this problem, and you need to cater to those problems in a very unique way. So how do you plan on expanding this further in the near future?
If you have a very good network of friends, business owners, there's a lot of potential, because sometimes people tend to discuss their problems with your most trusted person, or maybe you have some issues with your business, and then you try to find another solution through maybe your companion or colleague. So that's where you find answers, and probably you can find a solution for all of this.
As an entrepreneur, didn't you see any risks when you're starting this business?
Well, yes, there was a huge risk involved. The risk was, would this be successful? Will I be successful? Will there be a demand? Those were the risks, but somehow we managed to encounter that.
All right. No, so what is your final vision? What do you envision in 5 to 6 years' time?
Well, our vision is to become the one-stop shop for all pet owners, like, for example, pet grooming, online channeling, e-channeling, pet sitting, pet training, pet photography. So if everybody can come into one platform, including pet accessories, pet food, that's where the vision is.
Why do you think people should enroll with PetDoc?
Well, it's a one-stop shop, like I said. You can find each and every service from this app, from the push of a button.
And as my final question, Themiya, what's the advice that you can give for the entrepreneurs out there? Because there are so many young entrepreneurs and even people who have new ideas, they're just difficult to take their step during this economic crisis. As you said, y'all also had this huge risk whether your business would be successful or not. They must be also having this huge problem in their head because times are different, things are changing, and nothing is constant. So is there a particular advice that you would like to give for all the entrepreneurs out there who wants to take one step further?
Yes, there is. Always talk to people, right? You can find solutions. There are mentors who's willing to support and guide them. You can always reach out to them.
But what is the main risk you feel? Do you think that they should forget about all the risk and just go for it?
Take a chance.
All right. Okay, thank you, Themiya. Thank you for sharing your ideas with us on Business Best as well. And I wish you all the very best with the PetDoc as well. And I hope you get to launch your future services as well. Thank you very much. And that was our episode on Business Best. We will be back again next week with a product or service that will interest you. And just in case you couldn't watch us on air, you can always rewatch on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Derana English. I'm Suzanne Shanali. Stay safe and have a good night.